What's poppin', y'all? It's John here with Runners Elite, and today we're going to be talking about tips that will help you get recruited to colleges as a runner. So the video is going to be broken up into 5 different tips. There's obviously going to be more than 5 tips that you can find on the internet or anywhere, just advice that you can take to become a collegiate runner, but these are 5 of the most important tips that I could think of off the top of my head. So without further ado, let's get to the first tip. So tip number 1 is probably the most important tip of them all, if I had to pick one. But this is something that I did kind of late, so I wasn't getting as much contact with coaches as I'd wanted earlier in my career. But one of the most important things you can do is to make the first initial contact with the coach by reaching out in anything like, for instance, an email to the coach, or if they have an online questionnaire, definitely fill those out. Or sometimes it's good to send both of them at the same time. You're definitely wanting to get in contact with the coaches. Once you've established contact, that's when you can start making the connections, or talking about the university, getting more information, and then possibly scheduling a visit to the university. Once you've established contact with the coaches, this segues into tip number 2, which is using all your official visits, which whenever I was going through the recruiting process, we had 3. Not sure if that's changed, but you could have 3 official visits and unlimited amount of unofficial visits. So I definitely want to encourage y'all to use all the official visits you can, as well as unofficial, so you can get an idea of which college campus you'll like, because it's hard to compare college campuses if you've been to one and haven't been to the other, and met the team at one or haven't met the team at another. So it's definitely essential to arrange these visits with the coaches as early as possible, so that you can have time to visit all the potential colleges that you might want to go to, so that you'll have a wide array of options and different tastes of different colleges that you can choose from. Before we get on to tip number 3, you may be wondering, how do I get these colleges to notice me, and how do I get these colleges to respect me as a runner, respect my times and performances and ability? So that's going to bring us to tip number 3, which is that you need to be posting your best times on the track. Unfortunately, cross-country courses, especially in like smaller states like Arkansas, without proven year-to-year cross-country courses, like nationally regarded cross-country courses, it's hard to for out-of-state colleges to kind of understand the difficulty of the course, or the variables and times, because some courses may have you like 0.05 short per se, or some courses may have more hills than others, which will drastically affect the overall time. So you could run like, say, a 16 flat effort on one course, and it'd be a 1540 on easier course, while it's a 1620 on another course, strictly because of either the hills or the length of the course. So it's very important to post up times on the track, whether it be 800, 2 mile, 1 mile, 400, whatever you run, because that's a definitive marker, because all tracks are like under regulation, at least for the most part that I know of. Posting your best times on the track is going to be a very important part, maybe kind of controversial, because I would say that I was a better cross-country runner in high school, but I feel like recruiting is majorly based on track times, though, in the most part. So that brings us to tip number 4, which is to maintain a high GPA as well as great standardized testing scores like the SAT or ACT. This is going to be very important for people or runners like myself who weren't the greatest in high school but wasn't bad, so like they knew of me, but it's like kind of on the edge kind of thing. Having good GPA and having good testing scores is going to really put you above others that are in the same class as you. So say if you run the same time as another athlete, but say he's got a 4.0 GPA and you have a 3.2, that's going to be another deciding factor in what colleges are able to offer you and able to give you a spot on the team, and how apt they are to signing you to their team. Although you may think it's only times is going to be the biggest differential point, which it probably is, But once you start getting down to the nitty-gritty of things and have team or relatively close times with other athletes, then your grades and standardized test scores are going to be a big factor in determining whether you're able or whether the team wants you or not. So very good for distinguishing yourself from other athletes in your class. Last but not least, tip number 5 is when choosing your college, do not be afraid to take lower scholarship money or even walk on whenever you first go into the college as a freshman. Sometimes going to the college where you have better teammates, better training staff, better coaches with no scholarship or minimal scholarship is better than going to, say, a small D2 college, D3 college that has no regard for cross country in the sports world or in their sports world. And the training staff is minimal, as well as the coaches are kind of bad, and you're not really friends with the team. Once you get to the better college, you're going to be able to improve more, which is going to elicit more scholarship money over time. So, plus you're going to have a better experience and run better. So sometimes it's easier to get caught up in like, oh, I got a full ride over here to this smaller school that's not even really into track or cross country like that, but this big track and cross country school that has a great program, great team that you like a lot is offering you not as much as the other one. Sometimes it'd be hard to say no to the full ride, but trust me, in the long run, you're going to be happier with your decision once you go to the place you like better, and you're going to be running faster at the same time. So got to keep that in mind. Now, these are 5 tips I wish I would have known in high school, and that I think would help a high school runner to get recruited and become seen as a more valuable prospect amongst college coaches, and a couple tips to get your name out there. Definitely don't be afraid to contact bigger schools. You never know what kind of response you'll get. Don't think just because a school hasn't contacted you first that they don't care about you or they don't think you're good enough, because sometimes you may have just slipped under the radar. And once you give them your times and reach out to them and show that you're taking the proactive initiative, it kind of shows them that you're maybe the type of runner that they want. And then once they dive deeper into your stats and your racing, that they might find that you are exactly what they're looking for in the long run for their program. So that's going to do it for this video. I hope y'all enjoyed this and can put these to practice to help you in your recruiting process if you're in high school still. I know the coronavirus has kind of made it harder for visits and all that, but hopefully in the future it will be changed and everything will be back to working in the recruitment process how it should be. Thanks for watching. Like, share, comment, subscribe. Do all the things you need to do at the bottom of the screen. And as always, wolves up. Peace out.